Outgoing Speaker Nancy Pelosi just got caught red-handed with her role on January 6th. We're going to take a look at the texts and email messages showing that Pelosi had more to do with it than she first admitted. We're going to see what she was really up to on that day, and make sure to stick with me at the very end of this video when I'll reveal how Pelosi is the real threat to democracy. You are not going to want to miss this. In the face of J6 Committee's humiliating withdrawal of their Trump subpoena, we now have hard evidence that Pelosi's office deliberately created the very conditions that led to the J6 riot. House Republicans have gathered a treasure trove of text and email messages showing that Pelosi's office was indeed directly involved in the creation and editing of the Capitol building security plan that so abysmally and pathetically failed on January 6th. The internal communications were published in a report compiled by incoming Republican leadership in an effort to counter the embarrassingly partisan final report of the now defunct J6 Kangaroo Committee. The report revealed texts from Pelosi's staff to the House Sergeant of Arms informing officials that they, Pelosi's team, had secretly edited the J6 security plan. And after they gave the Sergeant of Arms the heads up, they told him to act surprised when he saw the final draft of the security plan, as if it were the first time he saw it, a request with which he reportedly complied. The key to these edits is that the Pelosi team had deliberately weakened Capitol security on J6, obviously allowing the riot to happen with minimal defense. Now, of course, this is in stark contrast to what President Trump had originally requested. Reuters reported back in May of 2021 that President Trump did, in fact, originally request National Guard troops to guard and protect the 100,000 supporters that showed up on J6 at the Capitol. Former Acting Defense Secretary Christopher Miller testified before a House of Representatives panel that President Trump had requested the presence of the troops, but that request was denied. We now can see that it was Pelosi and her staff that appear to have deliberately denied that request. And as a result, as the Republican report concluded, they knowingly left the Capitol building vulnerable on that fateful day. And now these revelations, they're huge. As we're also painfully aware, Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats, as well as Rhino Republicans, have done everything they possibly could to weaponize J6 to their advantage. For example, just days after the riot, Pelosi made the absurd comment that the rioters in the Capitol were guilty of, in her words, choosing their whiteness over democracy. According to a report by U.S. News, Pelosi said, quote, "It has been an epiphany for the world to see that there are people in our country led by this president for the moment who have chosen their whiteness over democracy." It was an incredibly petty and frankly bizarre turn of phrase. And I remember when it was originally picked up by a number of media outlets, not a single reporter bothered to ask the question, what precisely did the speaker even mean by that comment? How precisely did they choose their whiteness over democracy? And while she was making comments like that, Missouri Representative and ultra-leftist Cori Bush introduced a resolution calling for the removal of the Republican members of Congress who challenged and objected to the Electoral College because, in her words, quote, "The dangerous consequences of their actions led to an attempted white supremacist coup that put thousands of lives in danger and left 5 people dead." I mean, there's been no shortage of attempts at weaponizing J6 as a means to further marginalize the political sentiments of tens of millions of voters that the permanent political class despises and disdains. But there's a huge irony in all of this, an irony that further implicates just how corrupt the permanent political class really is. But first, gang, I've got to admit, I don't always make the best food choices, okay? If I'm honest with myself, there's zero chance that I'm eating the doctor-recommended 6 cups of fruit and 6 cups of veggies every single day. If only, if only it were in a powder form that I could put in my favorite drink. Well, what do you know? It is. And that's why I absolutely love Field of Greens. Field of Greens is powered with a full spectrum of essential vegetables and fruits, plus science-backed herbs and prebiotics. You're going to absolutely love this. Field of Green works fast, and if you're like me, you have more energy, you'll feel healthier, your skin will look healthier, and it can even help you lose weight. Click on that link below and get your Field of Greens delivered right to your front door. And to help you get started, I got you 15% off your first order and another 10% off when you subscribe. But it is a limited time offer, so don't wait. Click on that link below or visit fieldofgreens.com and use promo code TurleyTalks. That's fieldofgreens.com, promo code TurleyTalks. You're going to absolutely love this. The irony surrounding Pelosi's absurd notion that patriots are opposed to democracy is that studies show that far from being anti-democratic, populist patriot voters actually want more democracy, not less. They want more referendums. They want more politicians who are actually going to listen to their concerns and who will in turn give more power to the people and less power to established economic and political elites. Back in 2017, a voter study group found an overwhelming majority of Americans, 86%, felt positively about democracy, while more than 8 in 10 regarded it as important to live in a democracy. This obviously includes the vast majority of Trump voters. But there's another irony here. What Pelosi and the Democrats and rhinos are doing in their weaponization of J6 is they are the ones who are actually attempting to oppress democracy, or better, a form of democracy. Scholars make a distinction between two kinds of democracy, what they call redemptive democracy and pragmatic democracy. Pragmatic democracy is the kind of democracy that operates within globalist world structures. It's based on the pragmatism of the technocratic expertise of a ruling elite whose values are often fundamentally at odds from that of the people. Now, it's very, very important to get the kind of pragmatism practiced by political and economic elites within so-called democratic structures has little, if anything, to do with the concerns of the vast majority of national populations. That's why Pelosi and the Democrats and the Cheney-led rhino Republicans seem to live in a world all of their own. They rule in accordance with their own values, which are so often at odds with the values of the citizens they claim to represent. In contrast to this, patriots are driven more by what scholars call a redemptive vision of democracy, which restores democratic rule and institutions as compatible with the values of the people. And as such, our leaders act and govern in accordance with the values, interests, and concerns of citizens rather than special interests. This is the whole notion of democracy that's animating and inspiring patriot movements, not just throughout the United States, but indeed throughout Europe as well. So the ridiculous hypocrisy in all of this is that Pelosi and the permanent political class, in trying deliberately to marginalize the political concerns of tens of millions of people through the weaponization of J6, they're actually silencing and suppressing, indeed canceling, the democratically expressed concerns of those tens of millions. And now we have the receipts, as it were, that such a suppression is indeed purposeful, as Capitol security was intentionally minimized. Which, of course, raises the question, was this riot staged? Was this riot at least allowed so as to create a political weapon for the permanent political class? Let's hope that the incoming Republican majority will get to the bottom of this once and for all. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. You'll definitely want to check out my latest video on how patriot militias are taking over the nation. It's going to make your day. So make sure to click on that link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.